open till it shatters through the ocean.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, cats and dogs and other farm animals, this is Aurelian, and welcome to episode 11 of Kerbal Space Chronicles. We, in the last episode, finally managed to land on the moon despite the massive amount of lag, and I actually did fix that to an extent. It's not going to lag as bad when we get to the moon, though I'm still not sure why it's doing it in the first place, so we'll have to see how that goes. Now, we are going to get some more research started. Namely, we are going to research fuel systems, because that gets me a lot more fuel tanks, which I do need, and I think it allows me to start looking into upgrading my procedural tanks too, though that might be advanced construction. Let me see here. I have so much stuff. That starts to unlock the shuttle lifting body parts, which is nice. There's a drilling unit for ethane. Axial servo joint. Infernal robotics. Okay. Girder hubs, A and K parts for bases. It allows me some more procedural fairings parts and procedural structural element. Okay. Anything else here? Question mark? Station logistics hub, maybe? Landing. That's going to be important. I want to build better landing craft. So we really need to think about purchasing more rocket parts too pretty soon. Now, the big thing that we need to do is upgrade the research and development building, because we are coming up against that 100 science limit. You notice the texts that I'm researching in the research and development building are 90 science each, and if we try to research something at 160, we won't be able to. Upgrading it to the next level will allow us to research the texts at 160 and the texts at 300. Of course, we'll need another upgrade to get to the techs at 550 because the limit only goes to 500. However, I think we have enough techs at the 160 and the 300 levels that we'll be able to last for a little while. Now let's just take a look out ahead. Faster than light is 25,000. Extreme fusion rockets is 20. Bussard fusion engine. A lot of fusion upgrades. Muon catalyzed. Quantum singularity reactors. Lots of upgrades. Lots of upgrades. Lots and lots of upgrades. Wow. Upgrades to solar panels and upgraded radiators. Okay. Alrighty, I think that is what we're going to do for now, but I'm going to go ahead and go into the vehicle assembly building and see what we can do there. So I'll be right back. Alright, we're in the vehicle assembly building because I did want to talk a little bit about my design process, about building the rocket that went to the moon. Now, there were a lot of compromises that had to be made. Now, I'm hoping that with the upgrade, with the upgraded parts, we'll be able to make more and better launchers. So we're just going to take a look. I have upgraded cryogenic, upper stage cryo rockets. That's what I need, definitely. The Daleth parts. Lander engines. 8 kilonewtons. That could be good for a small lander. EM pulse drive. Thing makes thrust. Question mark, exclamation point. It's an EM drive. Okay, I have some solid rocket boosters, new solid rocket boosters, new engines. Of course, another upper stage cryo engine with a really nice ISP. That could be useful. No new KW rocketry parts yet. The TX-87, the 1.875 parts. Orbital Bertha. That's one of the engines that I was looking for the other time, too. The upgraded Prometheus engine. Better solid boosters for it, too. Separation ball. A large solid rocket bottle for separating stages. Okay. Alright, so we're going to have to take a look through a lot of these parts. Upper stage engines. Of course, there's the engine that I used on the other rocket. So I have a lot of choices here. I'll let you know what I end up deciding to go with. We'll be right back. Alright, and we're back. So I had to make some interesting design compromises. Initially, I'd wanted to build a 4-stage vehicle to go to solar orbit, to orbit the sun and get a science from high solar orbit. And we're not going to be able to get into low solar orbit anytime soon, not until I get much, much better rocket parts. But we're looking at a 3-stage vehicle instead. I had to go the Delta 4 approach, because I can still only support rockets up to 36 meters tall, and the rocket I was going to build was either going to be taller than that or so unaerodynamic that it wouldn't fly. So I had to cluster together 3 of the Prometheus lower stages. That one's gone a little weird in its texturing. I'm not sure why, and hopefully it'll be fixed. This all comes away as one unit. And then we have 2 cryogenic stages. Interestingly, one of the challenges I set myself for the uppermost stage was I wanted to build it in no more than 3.2 tons. Just to see if I could pull it off. I want to see if I have any interesting fairings to show off, too. Oops, Titan Missile, Titan Red, Titan Brown, white, black and white, gray and orange. I guess we'll use the Delta one. Because why not? Now, I'm going to edit it really quick, because I don't want it to be that ridiculous. Go ahead and pull that section up. Pull that up, and then close it up. There we go. That looks a lot better. And it's in 4 parts, so it'll decouple planar. And we'll see if we can't put Project Boston into the sun. Not all the way into it, of course, but let's go to work. I'll see you in a few moments. So we're here on the launch pad with Project Boston, and something terrible has happened. You notice that probably that the video is starting to look really weird and stretched. Well, I normally record this in a windowed mode screen at 1776 by 1000 because it has problems in full screen when it's this heavily modded. Normally this isn't a problem. However, for some reason when I was changing scenes to bring up the rocket, it rescaled into 1600 by 900, which would actually start to cause a significant amount of graphical decay. It also meant that part of my displays were being cut off as they were still configured for 1776 by 1000. So I've come up with a temporary solution because to put it back in 1776 by 1000 would require me to restart the game, and that can take up to an hour with this many mods. So I've had to put it in 1680 by 1050. Now, because this is being stretched out to a 1920 by 1080 video feed, you're seeing a 1610 resolution stretched into a 16:9 viewing field, which is why things probably look more than a little bit weird, but we're going to have to bear with it for the rest of this launch, or I'm never going to be able to get this video done. In the meantime, let's go ahead and get Project Boston off the ground. You notice it actually kind of bounced there for a moment. I was not expecting that. But we're going to go ahead and fly this thing into orbit of the sun. We'll just have to see if it holds up well enough. You know, this is the first time I've used a rocket of this kind of design before. I've had auxiliary stages, but nothing quite like this. I'll go ahead and pull up my resource panel. There we go. Tells me we've got about 2 minutes on this stage. And then we're going to go over to the new trick. We're going to go over to our cryogenic stages. And take advantage of the efficiency of those. Surprised this does not have cooling. The upper stage does, I'm pretty sure. Let me go ahead and pull up my part commander. Of course, we have a lot of stuff that can be done in the lower atmosphere. But a lot of those are single-use experiments, so we're not going to trigger those. This procedural liquid tank. Yeah, it is cooling. It's using 0.13 electric charge per second. I may have to use that in future if I'm going to use that 1.875 meter cryogenic engine, the liquid hydrogen engine. So we're pretty steadily making our way up right now. I'm actually going to throttle back a little bit. So that way we're not going quite so ridiculous for a little while here. Focus on getting out of the atmosphere for a moment. Figure we'll let it come up to about 20,000 and then we'll go back to full throttle. Because by that point we'll have left most of the atmosphere behind us. Once we get down below 0.1 atmosphere. Which will be about 20,000. And there we go. Back up to full throttle. Alright, so far so good. Of course, the cryogenic engines are happier the higher up we get. We're almost all the way over to where I want to be, right? Because unlike a normal orbital insertion, there is no target orbit. We're just going to keep burning prograde until we get where we need to be. Now, you might think that burning straight up and straight out is the best way to do it. Because of gravity, you're fighting gravity. You're not taking advantage of the Oberth effect in order to be able to pick up the Earth. I almost said Earth. You're not able to pick up the rotation of Kerbal as extra velocity, and you slow down more quickly. You lose a lot more to gravity. So it's actually more efficient, even if you're leaving the planetary system, to burn into what would be a quote-unquote orbital trajectory before, or rather, in order to exit the system. Now that's not good. Our fairing is starting to overheat, and the tanks are burning up. Go ahead and separate away. Fairing's burning up too. That's interesting. Don't explode. Don't explode. Ah, it exploded. Which means we've now lost that rocket stage. Brilliant! Now that exploded. We'll have to see if we have enough left in this stage to get us out to the sun. And I'm not entirely sure that we do. I wonder why that exploded. I've never had that happen before. We did pick up a lot of speed pretty early, but we'll see. I don't know if we're going to have the capability anymore. Alright, we're clear of the atmosphere, so I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of housekeeping things. Namely, we're going to deploy the solar panels. Make sure our power reserves are secure. There's no new science to be performed yet. Go ahead and activate the engine. Extending bell deployed. Prograde fire. And at this point, we're going to go into 5 times physical time acceleration. Yeah, I don't think we're going to have the momentum to do it. That fairing explosion cost us a lot. That second stage. Yeah, we don't even make it out past the moon's orbit. Dang! What the hell, man? Never had that happen before. Not even with a stage that powerful. I guess we're going to have to try this again in the next episode. In the meantime, stay tuned for the outro.
Here's just one of the patrons helping to make this content possible. If you want to see your name here, pledge at least $10 on my Patreon page. If you liked the video, please give it a thumbs up. If you like the channel, subscribe, or join us on our Discord and Facebook communities. If you really want to support the creative journey, either buy me a coffee for a one-time donation, or become a patron. Links to both pages are also in the description. In the meantime, this is Arinia, signing off. Take care.